Ma'am, step away from that vehicle.
It's my car. I'm just loading groceries.
We got a call about someone breaking into cars. You match the
I
description.
literally just walked out of the store. I can show you my receipt.
A receipt proves nothing. Don't reach for anything.
But how am I supposed to show you my receipt?
You're being uncooperative. I might need backup.
Backup for
Officer Travis Bennett had been with the Denver Police Department for 13 years. In those 13 years, he'd compiled a record that should have ended his career long before that Saturday morning in September. 22 complaints. 22, 19 of them involving accusations of harassment or unlawful detention against black people in affluent shopping areas. A black man at a farmer's market in Cherry Creek was questioned for theft. A black teenager leaving a bookstore in Washington Park was searched for shoplifting. A black couple shopping at a mall in Highlands Ranch were followed and detained for suspicious behavior. Each complaint ended the same way: mandatory de-escalation training that Bennett attended but never internalized. No real discipline, no meaningful consequences. One September morning in Denver, his 13-year pattern of assuming black people were criminals in upscale shopping districts finally confronted someone whose entire career was built on knowing the law and fighting injustice. And that confrontation would end Bennett's career, cost the city $5.5 million, and expose a department that had ignored 22 identical complaints over 13 years. A black woman in her mid-30s, attorney Jasmine Carter, was standing in the parking lot of a Cherry Creek Whole Foods, loading reusable grocery bags into the trunk of her Audi after her weekly shopping trip. Her suit jacket hung in the back seat, her bar association membership card was in her wallet, and her receipt was in one of the bags. No crime, no violation, no suspicious behavior, just a lawyer loading groceries into her own car on a Saturday morning. Before we continue, where are you watching from? If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button. Stories like these need to be shared, and your support helps us bring more truth to light. Denver, Colorado. Cherry Creek, one of the city's wealthiest neighborhoods. High-end shopping centers, luxury boutiques, expensive restaurants, and grocery stores where organic produce costs more than regular groceries elsewhere. The Whole Foods attracts affluent shoppers willing to pay premium prices for quality products. It was 10:15 on a September morning. The temperature was a pleasant 68 degrees, heading toward a high of 75. Jasmine Carter had been an attorney for 9 years, specializing in civil rights and employment discrimination law at Morrison & Associates, one of Denver's most respected firms. She'd graduated from Howard University, then Harvard Law School, where she'd been on law review. She'd clerked for a federal judge, worked at the ACLU for 3 years, then joined Morrison & Associates, where she'd become a partner last year. She'd won major settlements for clients facing workplace discrimination. She'd argued before the Colorado Supreme Court. She knew constitutional law, civil rights law, and criminal procedure better than most cops knew their own department policies. That morning, Jasmine had done her weekly grocery shopping at the Cherry Creek Whole Foods: organic vegetables, grass-fed beef, fresh fish, specialty cheeses. She'd spent $287, paid with her credit card, loaded everything into her reusable bags, and wheeled her cart out to her car. She'd been a Cherry Creek resident for 4 years, living in a luxury condo building 2 blocks away. She shopped at this Whole Foods every Saturday. She'd parked her Audi A6 in the lot, popped the trunk, and was methodically loading bags when she heard a car pull up fast behind her in an aggressive voice. Do you think officers should verify complaints before confronting shoppers in parking lots? Drop your answer below. Officer Bennett had been with Denver PD for 13 years, assigned to affluent shopping districts for the past 8. In 13 years, he generated 22 formal complaints. 19 involved black shoppers in wealthy areas. A black woman buying expensive wine in a liquor store was detained for suspected theft. A black man purchasing electronics at an Apple store was searched for shoplifting despite having receipts. Every complaint followed the pattern. Black people shopping, Bennett assumes theft, Bennett detains and searches. Complaints filed, training assigned, no consequences. Denver PD had documented 22 complaints over 13 years, but the department treated each separately, never connecting the obvious pattern. That morning, Bennett received a call about suspicious activity at the Cherry Creek Whole Foods. The caller reported a black woman loading numerous bags into an expensive car, behavior that didn't seem right for that neighborhood. Bennett responded within minutes, seeing exactly what the caller described: a black woman loading bags into an Audi. "Ma'am, step away from that vehicle." Jasmine turned, startled, and saw a police officer approaching with his hand near his weapon. Her legal instincts activated immediately. Excuse me? I'm loading my groceries. This is my car. Bennett's tone was accusatory. We received a report about someone stealing from cars in this parking lot. What are you doing? Jasmine felt her pulse quicken but kept her voice steady. I just told you. I'm loading groceries that I purchased inside that store into my own vehicle. There's no crime occurring here. The caller said you don't match the usual shoppers here. I need to see your receipt and identification. This is where knowledge becomes power. Jasmine Carter had spent 9 years studying constitutional law and representing people whose rights had been violated. Officer, I'm going to be very clear. I'm an attorney. I specialize in civil rights law. What you're doing right now is detaining me without reasonable suspicion of a crime. Your statement that I don't match the usual shoppers is racial profiling. I'm not obligated to show you my receipt or identification without probable cause. And you don't have probable cause. Bennett stepped closer. Ma'am, you're being uncooperative. Show me the receipt or I'll assume these items are stolen. Assume whatever you want, officer. Your assumptions don't create legal authority. What's your name and badge number? You're required to identify yourself. No, I'm not. Colorado is not a stop and identify state unless I'm suspected of a specific crime. Loading groceries isn't a crime. Now, are you detaining me or am I free to leave? You're being detained for investigation of theft. Theft of what? My own groceries that I purchased with my own money? Officer, what you're doing is unlawful detention. It's racial profiling, and it's going to cost you and this city significantly. A woman loading groceries 2 cars away approached. Excuse me, officer? I saw this woman come out of Whole Foods with a cart full of bags. She paid inside. I was in line behind her. She's not stealing anything. Bennett ignored her. Ma'am, final warning. Show me your receipt and ID, or you're under arrest. Jasmine pulled out her phone. I'm recording this interaction. Officer, you are now threatening to arrest me for exercising my constitutional rights. I'm an attorney with Morrison and Associates. My name is Jasmine Carter. You are currently committing a civil rights violation. Put the phone away and put your hands behind your back. On what charge? Theft, obstruction, and resisting arrest. I haven't stolen anything, I haven't obstructed anything, and I haven't resisted because you haven't lawfully arrested me. Officer, you are making a catastrophic legal error. Bennett grabbed Jasmine's wrist and pulled her arm behind her back. She didn't resist physically, but spoke clearly for her recording. I am not resisting. I am complying under protest. This is an unlawful arrest. Officer Bennett, badge number 2847, is arresting me for loading groceries into my own car. Should officers face automatic termination for arresting people without probable cause? Let me know what you think. The witness pulled out her phone and began recording. This is wrong. She didn't do anything. I saw her pay inside. Bennett handcuffed Jasmine, the metal tight on her wrists. He walked her toward his patrol car while she continued speaking calmly. I am Jasmine Carter, attorney at law. I'm being unlawfully arrested in the Whole Foods parking lot at Cherry Creek for loading my own groceries. I have witnesses. I have video. He placed her in the back of his patrol car. Through the window, she could see the witness on her phone, likely calling 911. She was documenting everything mentally. Times, statements, witnesses. She'd been on the other side of these cases dozens of times. Now she was building her own. The drive to the station took 15 minutes. They arrived at Denver PD's District 3 station. Bennett walked her inside, still handcuffed, past a desk sergeant who looked up with immediate concern. Bennett, what do you have? Theft suspect from Cherry Creek Whole Foods. Refused to show. Receipt or ID. The sergeant stood. Theft of what? Groceries. She was loading bags into her car. Caller reported suspicious activity. Jasmine spoke up, her attorney voice cutting through the room. Sergeant, I'm Jasmine Carter, partner at Morrison and Associates. I specialize in civil rights law. I was loading groceries that I legally purchased at Whole Foods into my registered vehicle when Officer Bennett detained me without probable cause. I informed him I'm an attorney and that his actions constitute unlawful detention and racial profiling. He arrested me anyway. I have witnesses, video evidence, and a receipt for every item in my car. This arrest is unlawful, and your department is now facing significant civil liability. The sergeant's expression shifted. Ma'am, you're an attorney? Civil rights attorney. 9 years at Morrison and Associates, Harvard Law School. I've successfully litigated dozens of cases against police departments for exactly this type of violation. Now I'm the plaintiff." The sergeant looked at Bennett. "Did you verify she stole anything?" She refused to show her receipt. "That's not a crime. Did you check the vehicle registration? Did you speak to store management?" The caller said she looked suspicious. "Looking suspicious isn't probable cause for arrest." He turned to Jasmine. "Ms. Carter, what's your vehicle information?" 2022 Audi A6, Colorado plates, registered to me at my Cherry Creek address. My receipt is in one of the grocery bags in my trunk, showing I paid $287.43 with my credit card. The sergeant made a call to the Whole Foods manager, who confirmed a woman matching Jasmine's description had checked out 20 minutes ago, paid with a credit card, total $287.43. No issues whatsoever. He hung up and turned to Bennett with barely controlled anger. "She's a paying customer. Store confirms it. She owns the car. You arrested her for loading her own groceries." Within minutes, a lieutenant arrived. Sandra Chen, a 20-year veteran who'd been tracking Bennett's complaint history and recommending termination for years. She listened to the sergeant's briefing, spoke to the Whole Foods manager herself, and reviewed the witness who'd called 911 reporting the wrongful arrest. She approached Jasmine, who was still handcuffed. "Ms. Carter, I'm Lieutenant Chen. This arrest was unlawful. You're being released immediately with our apologies." She turned to Bennett with finality. "Badge and weapon. You're done." Bennett's face went pale. "Lieutenant, I was responding to a call." "You arrested an attorney for loading groceries without verifying any facts. You've generated 22 complaints in 13 years, 19 involving racial profiling. Your career is over. Badge. Weapon. Now." By that evening, the legal community was mobilizing. Morrison and Associates issued a statement. The Colorado Bar Association condemned the incident. Civil rights organizations rallied. Video from witnesses went viral. Jasmine filed a lawsuit 6 weeks later, naming Officer Travis Bennett, his supervisors who'd ignored 22 complaints, and Denver PD. The allegations were devastating. False arrest without probable cause, false imprisonment, violation of Fourth Amendment rights, racial profiling and discrimination, unlawful use of force, intentional infliction of emotional distress, deliberate indifference to Bennett's pattern. The complaint included Bennett's complete record. 22 complaints over 13 years, 19 involving black shoppers, all dismissed with training that changed nothing. Denver city attorneys found no defense. Store records proved she'd paid. Witnesses supported her. Video evidence existed. Bennett had zero probable cause. The city settled 16 months later. $5.5 million paid to Jasmine Carter, one of the largest civil rights settlements in Denver history. Officer Travis Bennett was terminated 9 weeks after the incident. The termination letter was comprehensive. Officer Bennett arrested an attorney for loading legally purchased groceries into her registered vehicle. He had no probable cause. His pattern of similar conduct, documented through 22 complaints in 13 years, demonstrates an inability to serve without racial bias. Employment terminated immediately. Bennett's name entered the National Decertification Index. His 13-year career ended. Jasmine testified before Denver City Council. "I'm a civil rights attorney. I've represented dozens of clients who were racially profiled, falsely arrested, and had their rights violated. I never thought I'd be the plaintiff in one of these cases, but Officer Bennett arrested me for loading groceries, for the crime of being black in a nice neighborhood with a nice car." She paused. 22 complaints in 13 years, 19 involving black people in wealthy shopping areas. That's systematic racial profiling. Your department ignored it until it arrested someone who happened to be a Harvard Law graduate with the knowledge and resources to fight back. She paused again. $5.5 million is what it costs when you ignore patterns for 13 years. But money doesn't undo being handcuffed in a parking lot for buying groceries. Denver PD implemented reforms: mandatory verification before retail theft arrests, automatic investigation at 3 similar complaints, body camera review for all shopping area encounters, partnership with retail establishments, command accountability. Why do departments wait for 22 complaints instead of acting on 3? Comment your thoughts. This wasn't about one September morning. This was about tolerating Travis Bennett for 13 years despite 22 complaints showing identical bias. Jasmine Carter paid the price, arrested for shopping while black. Travis Bennett's career is over. The city paid $5.5 million. But those measures came after 22 complaints and 13 years of black shoppers harassed with no recourse. Comment if this should be mandatory. 3. Similar complaints within 3 years triggers automatic termination. Pattern recognition becomes policy. And if you believe these stories matter, if you think 22 complaints should have resulted in action after 3, then hit that subscribe button. We're exposing departments that ignore patterns. We're demanding better. This isn't about one officer or one attorney. It's about systems that let patterns continue and people who pay the price for that willful blindness.